Good morning, everybody. It's Tom Christie back in the painting studio, and I was thinking about this little black duck, cork black duck miniature that I had done. And if you haven't seen that, I did a two-part series on the making of this duck, but it got me thinking about the miniature category. And I have competed in miniatures off and on for a long time. It's another area of carving that I think is fantastic, and what I thought I would do today is just kind of focus a little time and attention on the miniature category. I've made some miniatures that I have that I want to show you. I've collected a few miniatures that I want to show you, and my hope is it would inspire some of you to tackle a miniature project. I really enjoy them. This is a scaled down carving project. They're quicker to do. Nice scale. There's not so much surface area that you have to deal with, and it opens the your creativity up to be able to create things that are hard to create in full size. And I'll show you what I mean as we go through some of the examples that I have to show you. I'm hoping, again, this will be inspiring to some of you, and just give a little credit and kudos to the miniature carving category. Let's take a look. All right, I want to start things out with this little miniature cork black duck. You've already seen him, but I also wanted to feature this great shell box that was made by a friend, Al Thomas, in Omaha, Nebraska. And Al's a carver in our local carving club. He made this for me, and it's beautiful work. Just amazing little shell box, miniature in size, and I just thought it's a great way to display some of these miniature carvings. So thank you, Al, for that. And the first one up, I want to go back a ways. This is a Elmer Kroll, and I got this a long time ago because it was inspiring to me. Elmer was a great old-time carver and did a lot of these beautiful miniatures, and some of his work was very inspiring to me in some of the original creativity and ideas that Elmer used in his carvings. I was able to use in some of my own. Another miniature pair, and I'm going to scoot Al's box out because I need both. I need more room here. This is a Ward Brothers miniature mallard pair, 1/3 size, and they did a ton of these birds. And I added these to my collection a long time ago. When I started competing at the Ward World Championships, I just had a desire to have some of the Ward Brothers work, and this was something that I could afford at the time, these miniatures. And they don't take up much room, and to me, they're just a constant inspiration of the Ward Brothers and the work that they did. And I have these right behind me in my painting studio in a cabinet to keep me inspired. And so I'm fortunate to have that mallard pair from the Ward Brothers. Those were 1953. This is a beautiful little miniature by Peter Kane. Peter has passed away, but incredible detail on this dead hanging mallard. Even has a band there on his leg, and I feel very fortunate to have some of Peter's work. A great person as well as a tremendous talent. This is a black-bellied tree duck by Alan Bell, and in miniature form you can see the size of my hand. Just incredible detail that Alan puts into his paint work, and a very delicate portrayal of that bird. Just beautiful craftsmanship and artistry. This next carving is a miniature Baltimore Oriole by Bruce Lepper. And unfortunately, Bruce is no longer with us, but he has done beautiful miniature work. And in Iowa, where we lived, we had Baltimore Orioles that would show up. And we also had ash trees, and asked Bruce if he would do this carving for us just to kind of celebrate the return of the Orioles every year. First week of May, they would always show up. So I'm very glad to have some of Bruce's beautiful work. This is another contemporary carver, Al Jordan. Beautiful little miniature screech owl. And I just have to get some close-up of Al's paint is incredible, along with his sculpture. And I saw this and just loved the composition. This is a Gary Yoder miniature ruby-throated hummingbird that Gary just does a fantastic job capturing the essence of that beautiful little bird in miniature form and put it on this tree branch that he created from scratch. So this is what I'm talking about compositionally. It's a little easier with miniatures to create these compositions when you're not dealing with full size. And Gary's just a fantastic world champion carver, just a beautiful bird. While we're talking about world champions, this is a Bob Googie tree sparrow miniature. And he put this on a snowdrift, which is incredible composition. And the detail on this bird has inspired me for a long time. Just incredible work that Bob did on that bird. Let me turn that around so you can appreciate his artistry. And unfortunately, Bob is no longer with us, but he is one heck of a carver and world champion. Now, these next pictures are going to pale in comparison to those world championship carvings. These are carvings that I made, miniatures. This is a miniature preening gadwall drake that I made a long time ago and took to a show. This is a pair of mallards. I had fun making little anchors and anchor line attachments and took these to a show. This is a little cocktail bird, they call them. You can see that's a dime, it's not a quarter. So this was a tiny little shoveler, but I had fun putting him in an animated position. This is a widgeon kind of stretching its wings and rising up on the water miniature, and I just had a lot of fun creating that. This is a little redhead that I made kind of standing on one leg and used walnut and carved some ripples in the base. Here's about a 4-inch shoveler drake that I made as a donation bird to the World Carving Championships. This was a little flock of flying redheads, and I just wanted to portray what I had seen out hunting, the small flocks of redheads flying low in a line over the water. And these are attached with the stainless pieces, and I just tried to keep it airy and then painted the water, including the shadows, to try to convey that composition. This is a little gadwall drake I carved, and I carved the walnut base again to look like water and ripples, like he's just rising out of the water. And I used that figured walnut to really look like the bottom of a creek bed or a lake. And I think it was very effective. I had a lot of fun putting this one together. This is a group of 3 miniature that I did as I was planning my world rig. back in 2011. It was a 3-bird rig, and they were all tied together, a pair of surf scoters with a herring gull kind of robbing food from them. And I made this little maquette and tied them together because I actually did a lot of work to determine how to self-write this composition. As they're all tied together, it's like self-writing a pontoon boat. It was a real engineering challenge, but having the miniature allowed me to play around with these guys in the hot tub. Sounds kind of silly, but you do what you got to do. And I was able to determine how to flip this thing over, what type of swinging keel I would need, how much weight proportionally that I'd have to have, and where it was going to be positioned. So I enjoyed making this, and I'm glad I have it. And the 3-bird rig didn't win at the World, but I had a fun time seeing it out there working in Assawoman Bay. And it did self-write, and I was so proud of that. This is another group of my own miniatures that I made, a group of flying widgeon, a pair of drakes and a hen kind of steaming down a riverbank or something. And these are carved and assembled with a small piece of stainless wire that is embedded in the wingtip, goes into the body. Same here, stainless wire embedded down below and goes into the stand. And this is the creativity that I was talking about in miniature form. These are light enough that you can create a lot of different active positions in your carving. And I just think it opens up a lot of creative possibilities that are fun. And I'm hoping viewing a few of these will inspire somebody to tackle their own creative miniature project. All right, well, that's a wrap on the miniature carving category, and I've never been known as a miniature carver, but I really admire the people that excel in that. I really appreciate doing miniature carvings because it doesn't take much material, it doesn't take a ton of equipment. There's relatively little surface area to work with. That doesn't mean it's easy by any stretch of the imagination. You have to work in much tighter geometry. But you can also, it opens up a lot of possibilities for creative composition in the way you portray the bird and its surrounding areas, and that's a lot of fun. So my goal is just to encourage that, maybe inspire somebody to give it a shot, and good carving to you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're valuing the content of my channel. It's free, doesn't cost anything to do that, but that does help me out. Until next time, Tom Christie signing out. Good carving to you.